Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Phoebe. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you've been here, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for telling your friends to tell their friends to tell their mama's friends to come check me out. But before we get started, if you have not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications because around here, you want to stay on top of every drop. But yeah, so today's PCOS talk is going to be all about hormones. The one thing that PCOS affects in any woman who has it is our hormones. So I would say the one thing that we all have in common is our hormone, because most of the time PCOS causes hormone imbalance. If you don't know, the hormones play a very important part of our bodily process. It helps with hair growth. It helps with fertility. It helps with ovulation. It helps with menstrual cycle. Your hormones basically are you. And when they're imbalanced, it throws off everything that is you. And for a woman like myself or for other women who have PCOS, having a hormone imbalance definitely affects every area of your life. From too much facial hair to balding early, to excess fat around your midsection, to darkening of the skin. Our hormones affect everything about our body. And when it's not balanced, it makes life a living hell, to be quite honest. So today I really just wanted to focus on what hormonal imbalance is, what the signs are, so that you can check out for yourself and know if you are suffering from hormone imbalance. Because if you do know that your hormones are imbalanced, then you can start working on balancing them. So with hormonal imbalance, it means that you either have too much of one hormone or too little of another hormone. No matter how small this change may be, it causes really serious side effects in your body. I'll use myself as an example. When I got diagnosed with PCOS, I did mention that my doctor did several blood tests. And the number one thing that pushed her to giving me a PCOS diagnosis was my testosterone levels. They were through the roof. My numbers were a lot higher than it should have been for a woman my age. For a teenager my age, my estrogen was super low. I was at the age where I should have started my menstrual cycle, but I was not having my periods. And that's what kind of like made her think like, you know what, this actually is a sign that you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And with the elevated testosterone levels, my facial hair was like growing at an obscene rate. I was suffering from male pattern baldness. I had the extra fat in my midsection. So with hormonal imbalance, it affects so many areas of your life. For a lot of women who are looking to have children, knowing the levels of your hormones and knowing that they're either balanced or imbalanced is very important. Because if you know that they're imbalanced, you can work on balancing your hormones so that when the time comes, having a child is easier. I'm not gonna say it's something that will happen overnight, but if you can get your hormones balanced, it can help you with your goal to become a mother. So once again, I have my phone with all my notes in it, but some of the signs that you can look for to tell if you have a hormonal imbalance is heavy, painful periods. And for me, my hormones are currently imbalanced and my periods are so heavy, it's so annoying. But that always happens when I put on a lot of weight. I have put on a lot of weight and it's caused my hormones to basically just go out of whack. And that's the word I always use because when it's imbalanced, my body is just not doing what it's supposed to do. My body is out of whack. So that is one sign. Mood swings. My mood has been shitty. So that is another sign that you can look for if you think you are suffering from hormonal imbalance. But again, I would say go see your doctor, get some blood work done. Have your doctor check for anything and everything that has to do with your hormones and let them get back to you. Another sign of hormonal imbalance is acne breakouts. Thankfully, my skin is still doing well, thank you God. But acne breakouts, yes, are another sign of hormonal imbalance. Struggling to lose weight, weight gain, they all go hand in hand. That is a sign of hormonal imbalance, especially if you are gaining weight without any crazy changes in your life. Your eating has not really changed. You're still working out, but you find yourself still putting on weight. That could be a sign of hormonal imbalance. Hair loss. Like I mentioned, when my testosterone levels were through the roof, I was suffering from male pattern baldness right in the crown of my head. As I was suffering from hair loss, it's like the hair left my head and went to my face. Anxiety. I do suffer from anxiety. I haven't had an anxiety attack in years, thankfully. But anxiety is a sign of hormonal imbalance. Breast tenderness. My breasts get tender on my cycle, so that might just be a PMS symptom and not really a sign of hormonal imbalance. But for some women, that may be a sign of hormonal imbalance. Irregular, missing, or frequent periods. So there's so much that has, like, your periods are either missing, or they come too often, or they're irregular. These three things are still a sign of hormonal imbalance. It sucks, all three. Because you want your cycle to come, and you want it to come regularly, and you want it to come every month. Not every week, not every day, not every other day. Like, you want your cycle to come monthly for the length that it's supposed to. For some women, they have their cycle every day.
Jesus Christ!
Every day. I couldn't imagine it. I could not imagine having my cycle every single day. It sucks. Another sign is feeling cold all the time. And for me, I used to say, oh, you know, I'm just anemic. I diagnosed myself with anemia. Okay, don't be like me. Get a proper diagnosis. But I diagnosed myself with anemia. I get cold really fast. And it always starts at my feet and it moves up. Like I could be wearing socks and my feet would still be cold. So I have a blanket. Like I'm always like trying to cover it because I get cold really fast. And over the years, I learned that it's not because I'm anemic, because my doctor checked. I'm not. It's because my hormones were imbalanced. Another sign is blood sugar issues. So for insulin resistance, it does affect your blood sugar. So if you notice that you are waking up and on an empty stomach, you're testing your blood sugars and it's through the roof, that could be a sign of hormonal imbalance. I mean, it could also be a sign of having diabetes. But again, you want to get all the tests done to make sure that it is not one or the other, you know? You want to be sure what is causing it all. Hormonal imbalance is known to affect your sleep, so you will find yourself suffering from insomnia. And one way you can look for that is if you went from having a normal sleep like habit to not being able to sleep throughout the night or not being able to fall asleep without assistance. If you find yourself being reliant on like melatonin supplements in order to fall asleep, then that could be a sign of hormonal imbalance, especially for someone who never really had sleep problems before. If you used to fall asleep with no issues and then all of a sudden that changed, that can be a sign of hormonal imbalance. Low libido, it will affect your sex drive, ladies. So again, you want to check with your doctor and get this checked out because nobody wants your sex life to be affected. Like, nobody. Hormonal imbalance can cause vaginal dryness. So not only is it affecting your libido, but it will make it dry as a desert down there. So you want to be sure that it's not something that you are going through. Low estrogen is also known to cause weak bones. Like it can cause your bones to be brittle. And you don't want that because again, that leads to other like side effects in your life. Imagine having brittle bones and then you fall down the steps. That's like something that leads to something else, that leads to something else, and you don't want that. So with hormonal imbalance, there's so many ways that you can work to balance your hormones. I will talk about that in my next PCOS talk. But I want you to know that with hormonal imbalance, you do not have to put yourself on medications to balance your hormones. You don't need to put yourself on birth control. You don't need to put yourself on metformin. Any other medications that you see being sold and are hormonal, like for hormones, you don't have to do that. Simple things like just eating better, moving more will help you balance your hormones. And again, I will focus on that in my next PCOS video. If you believe that you have hormone imbalance, my advice is to seek help from your doctor. Get your doctor to draw some blood and do some tests. Run some tests and see what your numbers look like. Knowing exactly where your hormones are is how you start treating and managing everything that is going on in your body. As a woman with PCOS, staying on top of your hormones is very, very, very important, because the thing about PCOS is you are continuously healing. There is no cure for PCOS, so lifestyle changes can affect your hormones. Lifestyle changes can have you going from balance to imbalance. So you always want to stay on top of your hormones. In my opinion, I would say go see your doctor once every 6 months and just have them run some blood work. Draw some blood and look at my hormones and tell me, is everything okay? Especially for a woman who is looking to start having children, you want to stay on top of this because it affects all of that. As far as fertility issues, it's deeper than the woman. It's not always the woman, it can be the man. But before you can put the blame on the man, you have to know that your hormones are also where they're supposed to be, which is why my advice is see your doctor at least twice a year. And it does not have to be for anything other than for you to just stay on top of these numbers. Know exactly where your hormones have to be normal, and make sure you keep it there. And if something is not working well, seek help. If your hormones are imbalanced and it has to do with your diet, get help from a nutritionist. If you know you're not moving enough, maybe get a personal trainer, join a Pilates, try yoga, different things. By knowing these numbers, it allows you to change different areas of your life, and then also just look and see if those changes are doing anything positive for your body. By knowing what levels your hormones are at, you can definitely tell yourself if all the changes are working in your favor or if they're working against you, Thank you all so much for joining me again today for our PCOS talk. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them down below and I will do my best to answer them as soon as possible. If you enjoyed this video and you have not subscribed already, please subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. If you've already subscribed and you've been here, thank you so much for sticking around. I will see you all in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay blessed and safe. Bye.